Out of you.
Oh yeah.
Like that, like every time they come back from a replay, that little chirp. I'm like, oh. Welcome to the Week 8 edition of MVC Gridiron Weekly, presented by Davila and DeFusco Insurance. My name is Tim Wood, here with analyst Hector Longo. No Hector.
No Hector.
And Bill Bryant. No Bill. Lou.
What happened?
What the heck? Week 1 of the playoffs.
What, did they both lose in the first round?
I'm thinking
We're outta here?
They pretty much both slept in because of the Red Sox. So, no, they both had family obligations. Bill is going to be reffing the one game that wasn't canceled today. I'm still in a special guest analyst this week.
Wait a second. Bill's a member of the media.
Yeah.
He's the father of the quarterback.
Yeah.
And he's refereeing games.
And he's he's not a member of the media. I mean, he's kind of.
Yes, he is.
Kind of.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. So he passed his refs test on Thursday, and now he's I don't know if he's doing the chains or I don't know.
I was going to say he passed his test on Thursday, and he's refereeing a playoff game on
today.
Saturday.
Yeah, but now he says he eked out the win on the refs test on Wednesday.
The irony of Bill being a referee after spending 5+ years on the sidelines with him is unbelievable. I can't imagine the first day that he gets heat from a coach, what his reaction is going to be, because all he's been doing is giving it for the last 7
I know
years.
what his reaction is going to be.
So.
I mean, that's the crazy part about everything I hear about Bill Bryant, and it's great because he's not here, so we'll trash him.
Yeah. No, we're not going to do that.
No, but and I've said it to him on Raging Nation Radio. Everything you hear about Bill Bryant pre-2015, maybe. He had a come to Jesus moment, or everything you hear is just ref hater, worst parent, parent that gets kicked out of the stands.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That doesn't sound like Bill.
Coach that gets kicked out of the gym.
Yeah. It's his passion carried over.
Yes.
You can see how he's passionate about everything right now. It was the same way when he was on the sidelines, and that would get the best of him sometimes. But now he's going to be on the other side. So,
and he'll probably text in at some point during the show. But listen,
he should Skype in from the sideline.
It's. We'll
the MIAA will have no problem with that.
No, not at all. Not at all. We'll put the body cam on.
An official, yeah. No problem.
So, we got to get that tech, I guess. We get the body cams. We can actually just be on the field during the games, Lou.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Like XFL. All right, huge.
You laugh. I like the XFL.
I love the XFL. I love the documentary on the XFL, and I
haven't seen that.
Yeah, oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
Yeah, on one of the 30 for 30s.
Okay.
Great. Highly recommend it. So huge week of playoff action. I mean, so those of you just tuning in, here's the lineup. Dracut, huge win. The win of the night easily. Maybe the win of the night across the entire playoff picture. Division 4 North playoffs. Dracut 28, Marblehead 14. The number 1 seeded Marblehead Magicians ran out of magic against the Middies. So we will have Jay Rivers on.
Can I ask you a couple things?
Yeah.
The Magician's nickname. What the hell?
I know. It's like, yeah.
And then what's the other team that is using a Game of Thrones logo?
Oh, yeah, I don't know that one.
Yeah, Abington or no, who was it? I got to figure out who it was.
I know what you're talking about, though. So we will have Jay Rivers on. Then we're going to have on Shane Aylward from Tewksbury, star player for the Redmen. Had a huge season. We've seen it every week. He's been one of our stars of the week every week, and we finally got him on. Huge win for Dracut last night against Tewksbury, and then we will have a pair of Raiders on from Central Catholic. We'll have Coach Chuck Adamopoulos and star quarterback Jared Silverio. They'll talk about the big win over Lexington last night. So, but Joel, we were talking at Al's, and by the way, those who are not familiar with Joel, outside of Methuen, huge Methuen guy, huge into Methuen lacrosse. Just a huge youth sports guy. Period. You were at the Methuen Acton Boxborough game last night.
Correct.
And then so we got to get the Red Sox talk out of the way. I just like we're viewership's probably going to be mostly on demand this week because it's just crazy that it's just I don't even know what time the game ended. You tapped out in the 12th, you said?
Yes, about the 12th. I think I was out for the night.
After 3.
And was just rolling over and checking
what about
the
you?
zone.
It was after 3. No, I went the distance. I had coverage. So.
It had to be well after 3 because I fell asleep. They were just going into the 16th at 3 o'clock when I fell asleep.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I know, it's all a blur.
Oh man, so many chances.
Yeah.
It's
fine. It's fine. It's okay.
I think it's fine. I mean, tonight's going to determine if it's fine. Truthfully, because
I think it's fine either way.
this whole thing. I mean, their whole system is now out of whack when you use 25 guys and you use everybody but Pomerantz, and then we're going to depend on Pomerantz for Game 4. Stranger things have happened. Clearly, and we've had heroes stepping up every portion here, but
Well, he's got the full bullpen, so he pretty much he didn't burn anybody up.
No, he burned through his bullpen.
Evaldi.
Yeah, he burned through the bullpen pretty early. So you had no choice but to go to Evaldi at that point.
They
'cause
all
you had
went one
nothing
inning.
left.
So
I mean, Rodriguez
they can
went
come back.
a third of an inning, so
If that. Yeah, one batter, right?
Yeah, Rodriguez has got some arm in
Pomerantz
him.
and Rodriguez on a big piggyback with the full bullpen.
Could we bring the bats to the game tonight? That'd be probably a good idea.
That kid's good.
Oh, he is, but I mean,
Walker Buehler is
that was
good.
only 8 innings. Or
I know, that was
7
only
innings.
a third of the game.
So, it was only,
Yeah, you're not going to win many baseball games when you don't get a hit out of the top 4 spots in your lineup.
yeah.
Oh,
You know,
for
Mookie Betts
28, I think, the top 4 spots.
Oh yeah. It was off. I mean, Betts
Happens.
it does happen, but Betts,
These are good teams. This is the World Series.
Betts has just got to wake up. That's all.
Yeah.
A great thing he did with the food for the homeless, but I mean,
If you want to be concerned about something, it's JD being hurt.
yeah, absolutely.
That's the thing you're concerned about.
I mean, listen,
Because the lineup is different with him and whatever.
Nunez deserved to be the hero last night, and that's the unfortunate part. People will have it in their head that Muncy advanced the extra base because he made the catch, and he deserved to be the hero.
Just playing hard.
and Evaldi.
Even Kinsler. It's just playing hard, being aggressive.
Just take one more step. That's all I ask.
It's okay.
Just take one more step.
It's okay. Calm down.
He had time.
They weren't gonna sweep this team. You don't sweep World Series.
All of the pre-2004 memories are coming back, Lou. It's just it's flooding back.
It's always there.
Calm down.
It
It's always
doesn't matter
there.
how great the last 14
Calm
years
down.
have been around
It's
here.
all good.
It's
All
always
right.
there.
So we'll do the Aaron Rodgers things. R-E-L-A-X-A-Z. AX.
What?
Remember when he did the relax thing?
Oh, yeah, that's
the
right.
video. Yeah.
It's okay. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
All right. Thanks, Lou.
Yeah.
Lou's the producer, the therapist, many things.
I qualify.
So huge wins all across the. I mean, seriously, a good showing for the MVC last night, and with the huge win against Marblehead for Dracut. I mean, Methuen. We can't. Methuen had it.
Tale of two halves. It was 2 different ball games.
Yeah.
Methuen came out in that first half. Defense was, didn't allow Acton Boxborough anything, and then all of a sudden, Methuen get the ball. Connor Bryant was leading them downfield. Couple of big throws, and next it's 21-7 at the half, and you get the ball to start the second half. So you think, all right, here we go. But Methuen comes out, 2 early penalties, forced a punt early in the third quarter. And then Acton Boxborough, 1 play over the top, 21-14.
Yeah.
And then you could feel it, the tide turning at that point. Connor Bryant picked up a big 3rd and 19. You think momentum's starting to swing back a little bit. Forced a punt, blocked punt by Acton Boxborough. And 2 plays later, they're back in the end zone. It's 21-21. Connor didn't have much time in the backfield when they did drop back to pass. AB made some adjustments in that second half. They didn't allow the ball to the outside at all.
And you're really talking about a tale of 2 teams here and 2 paths because, as you said, and we were talking about Dracut, Methuen, they both knew first drive we can play with these guys. Like they knew it on tape, but then they knew it in person too. And Methuen got a little tight, and Dracut just kept with the foot on the pedal. And hey, let's talk to the coach. Very excited to have the coach of the Dracut Middies, Coach Jay Rivers. Coach Tim Wood, Joel Ferretcher here on MVC Gridiron Weekly. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good after last night.
Are you? Are you still? Did you sleep? Let's start there.
Be honest with you, it was a long day. It had been it was pretty stressful coming in as an 8 seed. So I would say, honestly, once I laid down, I could tell you I slept like a baby.
Nice. So Dracut's first playoff win since 2008. I mean, this has been building, Coach. We saw it last year, just in terms of the way Dracut took care of Methuen on Thanksgiving, and things have been building here. You guys have had some great waves this year. 3 tough losses, but against 3 tough teams that I've got to think prepared you for this moment.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We've been in playoff caliber games now since, the end of September, playing Acton Boxborough, the number 3 seed out of Division I, and then playing North Andover, the number 1 seed in Division II. Could arguably be one of the best teams in the state right now.
Absolutely.
And then playing at Tewksbury the week right before playoffs, and they're the 1 seed in Division III with their only loss to North Andover as well. So, yeah, we've been in playoff caliber football for a while now.
So we were talking about just the kind of the difference between games, and in terms of Methuen against Acton Boxborough, they put up a good fight. You guys went in. I mean, tell me what it's like when you think you're seeing one thing on tape in terms of we can play with these guys, and then to see the way your team reacts. Tell me, like, after maybe the first drive, the second drive, like, how proud are you of this team?
Oh, my pride in this team hasn't wavered. The first 3 wins to the first 3 losses. These kids right here that are playing this year, this group of seniors and juniors have been playing varsity football for 2-3 years now. When they've taken their lumps, they know what it's like. We, as a coaching staff, we took we were the sacrificial lamb. We put those kids out there, and we knew what we were building our team around. So I'm pumped for these kids to get this win. They fought through all the adversity that's happened this season, and they just keep coming to practice for us.
All right, so Coach, I saw you guys went out quick, up 28-0. How do you keep your guys focused and telling them to keep the foot on the pedal, don't let up, because at any point, you're playing a good Marblehead team that 28 in the first half isn't a huge number.
We know we have some unfinished business we left on the field last night. We had the ball inside the 10, maybe the 12 twice in the second half, and we didn't convert. But being up 28-0, 28-7 at the half is huge. But, there's still a lot of work we got ahead of us. Last night was a huge, all last week it wasn't so much the X's and O's. It was finding that identity of the team again. We think we lost that identity over that 3-game stretch where we lost those games. And it's all about finding that identity and just continuing that identity. Don't, as you guys said, you have the waves of the season. We got to keep that wave high.
In terms, tell me just in terms of the leadership from Devin Lambert.
He does a great job on offense. He controls the offense for us. He's able to make some checks at the line of scrimmage. He does a great job reading. If he needs to check the play from one thing to another. He does a very good job noticing pre-snap stuff, and in the run game last night. He had some great reads in all of our read option stuff, so he does a good job for us.
I mean, was that the best game you've seen him play, or was this just who he is and the leadership that he provides?
I don't think it was anything different than what he does for us on any other day.
Yep.
That's just the kid he is. I mean, he's that type of kid that he'll throw a touchdown and he'll just come jogging off the field, or he'll throw an interception and he just comes jogging off the field with the same expression on his face. So he's a tough kid to read, but and again, that's also a good thing. You know, he plays the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows at the same. So that's not bad for a quarterback.
Nemesis Lopez, a big pick for you guys late in the game. I mean, you guys, as much as you said you left some stuff on the field, you had a couple of huge stops there in the fourth quarter.
Oh yeah, the defense played great last night. They made some big plays. We actually had another interception taken back from us. Those guys played well. Coach O'Donnell, Coach Ganji, Coach Peters, Coach Machado, Coach Brody on the defensive side of the ball did a great job preparing those kids for last night. And they didn't do anything that surprised us. I think we were pretty much prepared for everything. And then just let the kids go out and play.
So Wayland wins big last night over Burlington. What do you know about them, and what are you looking for next week?
Wayland took it to us last year. That's what I know about them. We went out there. We went there the week after we lost to Melrose. It was kind of a quirky week anyways. It was we had the big storms last year up here in Massachusetts where we all lost power and everything.
Yes.
It was just a weird feeling week. We went down there to Wayland, and the scoreboard will show that we scored 7 points, but we basically laid a goose egg that night. Didn't play well. You could see it in the kids. I mean, it was weird. It was just a weird feeling. So we know they're a great team. They got a great running back, a couple good linemen that we know of. I don't expect them to be any different than what they were that night. They came out and played football, and we got to try to match their intensity this year.
So we know about Lambert, we know about Cam McCullough, and we mentioned a few names, but give us some of the unsung heroes, Coach, that we don't see in the paper, we don't see on the stat sheet week to week.
You're not going to see a lot of offensive stats from him last night, but Alan French stepped up huge for us offensively. Had to change positions due to injuries that we've had on the team. He's been playing running back for us all year. And yesterday at about 2 o'clock, literally we made the change to completely. We were playing with it here and there, but we moved into offensive tackle, and he came in last night. And to be honest with you, when we needed the yard, that's who I ran behind.
Wow, had he ever played offensive tackle?
He never played offensive tackle, but I coached him on Pop Warner D team many years ago when he was my center.
Oh boy!
Yeah, he was my center. So I kept messing with him all afternoon and early evening, getting ready for the game, and telling him how pumped I was to finally have him back with me on the O-line for 7 years and stuff. And but that kid's just a trooper, man. He'll do whatever you ask. Alan is our leader. If you ask him to do this, he'll do it. You ask him to go do that, he doesn't even question you. He does nothing. He just says, "Yes, coach," and goes and does it.
Guy like that, anytime you give him a chance to make some more hits, some more blocks, their face probably lights up, right?
That kid. He's a football player. That's all I can say about him is he's just a football player.
Who else you wanna give shout outs to?
Lucas Abarwan stepped up huge last night. Put him at running back. He got some carries. You just mentioned Nemi with the interception. We put him in the backfield. He got some carries as well. Last night we had 7 or 8 people carry the football, and typically in a normal night, Kuzi got some big runs for us last night. Some tough yards inside. Then we have a couple receivers, Cam McCullough, Jacob Rivers, Joey Pekka, all made big catches for us last night. I mean, it was a team win. I mean, you're not going to see one kid on there with 150 yards rushing or 100 yards receiving. It's splattered all over the place. So no kid's got that splashy stat sheet for us. But our overall production on offense and defense. I mean, the defense was swarming. So you're going to have probably 10, 11 kids with 4 or 5 tackles, instead of that one kid that gets 15 tackles and the other guys get 2 or 3. I mean, it was an awesome team effort to watch last night.
Yeah, I mean, the score is the splashy stat sheet, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take any score with it leaning that way opposed to the other way.
That's awesome. Tell us just in terms of the mindset here, and I mean, Did you have to kind of dial back any wide eyes when they walked into the stadium last night, or was it game on from the get go and no worries going to Wayland?
When we got to Marblehead last night, I mean, that's a beautiful little setup they have there. That's pretty cool. Never been up there before. I didn't see any questioning, like any eyes in the locker room. It was a very loose locker room. Sometimes that makes me a little nervous. I'm more of a dialed-in kind of guy, but I'm an older guy, and these a couple of my younger coaches they're fine with it. They keep telling me we're good. But the kids just went out and played. Like I said, all last week, all we worked on is find our identity. Are we the team from the first 3 weeks with some wins, or are we the team, the last 3 weeks that took some lumps? So we knew who we played in those last 3 weeks. So it was just find our identity. We were just trying to build on who we were, and whoever's on the other side of the field is who's on the other side of the field. We just got to go out and play Dracut high school football.
Just get me in the playoffs and let's make it happen from there, right?
Yeah, so you say I have a chance. That's the line.
Yeah, so Dracut's first playoff win since 2008. So what's the buzz like around town now that Dracut football is getting back on the map?
Well, I mean, hopefully it's positive. Hopefully people are proud of these kids. I mean, they've paid their dues. Like these kids here on this team here have like this senior class has been part of an Ofer team. They were a freshman that year. A lot of them played in those games. I was actually playing some of these kids like Alan French, Will Peters, Cam McCullough. Those guys actually played in a lot of the varsity games as freshmen. We played a good game against our Melrose last year in the first round. Thought maybe we should have won that game, but didn't play like we should have in the second half. So these kids have been hungry since then. I mean, everyone keeps talking about our big win versus Methuen. That was huge for our program, but we knew we left a lot on that field against Melrose, and thought that the outcome should have been different that night.
Coach, huge congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much.
I know you're not the guy that's going to go around pumping out your chest, at all the diners and delis, but you deserve a little bit of that today. And huge congratulations to you, the coaching staff, the parents, the kid. I mean, just the kids. I mean, great win for the program, great win for the school. Really excited for you, Coach, and we'll be watching next week against Wayland.
All right, much appreciated.
Right.
Did you guys want to speak with Devin?
Oh, you got Devin there?
Yep, I got Devin. Yes.
Oh, all right. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, hang on. All right, I'll put him on. Hang on.
Great, thank you. Keep forgetting about the twofers. A lot of them are at looking at tape or at Saturday practice. Hey, Devin, it's Tim Wood. This is Devin Lambert, the quarterback for Dracut. It's Tim Wood, Joel Ferreccia with MVC Gridiron Weekly. Congratulations on the win last night. 3 TD passes. You led the team to the first playoff win since 2008. Led them to scoring drives on the first 4 possessions. I mean, tell us about your mindset going into this game against an undefeated team. Coming off that tough loss last year against Melrose, what were you saying to the team heading into this game?
Well, we all knew we were hungry for it, and we were really prepared for the game. So we were just ready to play our game and get the win.
When did you know that this wasn't a 1-8 matchup? I mean, we were saying that to Coach. You can see it on tape all day, but until you actually get the kids on the field and see how they're going to react. I mean, when did you know that you could control this? You could dominate this game.
We knew it right when we met each other on the pregame, right on the field. We could just tell. It's about like the way they were warming up, the way we were warming up, the energy, and we were pretty confident going in.
You guys were loose. They were a little tight.
A little bit, yeah. You could tell.
Do you feel you're playing with a little bit of house money as the 8th seed? You go in there, you go up big early, and now you're going back on the road again, and you get another shot at Wayland that beat you last year pretty good.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. That was just a bad game last year.
How does it feel for you just to be righting some of these wrongs or getting back at these teams and getting this team back? I mean, 3-game losing streak to end the year, but you guys knew you were better than the record. I mean, how does it feel to kind of redeem yourselves in this way, in just an epic way, knocking off a number 1 seed?
Well, it feels really good. Can't lie, it feels good, and just want to keep it rolling, I guess.
Tell us,
it's really good.
Absolutely. Tell us about. Tell us the guys on your offensive line that really stepped up for you last night.
Well, I think all of them did great. Allen did great stepping up.
Yep.
Ian Godbout did great at right tackle. Lois, who had a bad game previous week, really stepped up this week, I thought. And Justin Betancourt, our center, he stepped up too. He did great.
Yeah, we always.
Oh, and I can't forget about Big Deal.
Who's that?
Big Deal.
Big Deal?
Big Deal?
Big Deal?
Yeah.
That's
a deal.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
Nice. I mean, we always kind of got to get the QBs the O-line love. You know, you're not going to be giving them Rolexes or Rolex watches or ATVs or anything at the end of the year, but they are the bread and butter behind what you do, right?
Yes, they are.
In terms of where you think this team can go now, I mean, on paper you've knocked out the number 1 seed. You got the 5 seed. Wayland put up a big number against Burlington. How far do you think where this team's at right now? How far do you feel this team can go?
We can go as far as we want to go. I think if we play our game every week, that we'll go very far.
Coach talked about getting your identity back. What to you is the identity of this team, and what do you feel was lacking in those three losses?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
No problem. I was just saying, Coach Rivers said that he kind of felt you guys lost your team identity in those 3 losses, and I just what is the identity of this team that you were able to get back in this win?
Well, we just went back to playing our game, really, just Drake High School football, and that's really it. I don't know how to.
Just I don't know what else to say. Got a little swagger back, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Well, Devin, huge game. You stepped up all year for the Middies. Congratulations on the big win, and best of luck next week at number 5 Wayland. But we'll be keeping track and rooting for you guys.
All right, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Good luck, Devin.
Awesome job from the Middies. Great to have them on the show. We will take a quick break. So we're backed up a little bit on guests, but that's just fine. Dracut was the story last night. But there's plenty more stories to tell. We will come back after the break, and we will have Shane Aylward from the Tewksbury Redmen on. Big win for them last night. We'll be right back after the break here on MVC Gridiron Weekly, presented by Davila and DeFusco Insurance.
Social media, and all marketing roads lead through social media. If you want to make a splash here in the Merrimack Valley, you need to tap in. This is where the new CEM podcast studios come in. Of course, you can spend your time, energy, and money learning how to wrangle technology to make a podcast instead of running your business. Or you can invest in telling everyone in the Merrimack Valley, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, the Seacoast, or everywhere in the world about your great business, product, service, or yourself. The CEM Podcast Studio is a local audio and video studio dedicated to the craft of podcasts. Their studio Studios feature state-of-the-art recording and mixing equipment designed specifically to produce the best audio and video podcast. Best of all you need to worry about is your show, your business, and your brand. We do the rest. Call 978-686-9966. That's 978-686-9966 to schedule a no-obligation tour of the CEM facilities and meet with a podcast specialist. Or go to CEMpodcast.com to find out more about podcasting services. CEMpodcast.com, your window to the world.
I love talking about my man, Val Davila. It's a dream to own your own business, and Val and Susan Davila made that a reality in February 2013. They started with just 2 insurance carriers, but now Right in Place Insurance for Progressive, Safeco, Pilgrim, Plymouth Rock, and Mapfre, just to name a few. Need auto insurance, renters, commercial, or home? Davila and DeFusco prides itself in having lifelong roots in the Merrimack Valley. Put their experience to work for Back here on MVC Gridiron Weekly, Tim Wood, Joel Ferretra. How you feeling? You got the nerves out of the first segment.
A little bit.
Yeah. How you feeling?
Give
Feeling
Davila
great.
and DeFusco a little extra love here, because that commercial cut off for some reason. I don't know why.
Absolutely. No, we love them. Davila and DeFusco, they are the people to go to in the Merrimack Valley. And Val and Susan and the whole crew over there, they've been huge supporters of everything we've done with Loop Weekly, with Ranger Nation Radio, Looped In Live, and now the title sponsor, MVC Gridiron Weekly. Listen, they've got Mapfre. They've got 8 different kinds of insurance, and Val will probably yell at me. He's got endless options for you, whether it's home or auto, and yeah, Davila and DeFusco Insurance.com, I believe. Check them out. We love Val.
Yep.
All right.
And we'll get another commercial. It's just that one got cut.
Absolutely.
So,
All right.
So I definitely got the best end of this stick. Poor Bill Bryant out in the sideline sent us a picture.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Out pouring rain, and the only high school football game that I think that's going on today. Everything else got moved to last night because of the weather. But he's out there holding the yard market today.
Do we know what he's at?
I have no idea where he's
Me
at.
neither. And it's like I kept thinking to myself, like, okay, the rain hadn't started. I get that, but I mean, even my youth soccer team knew to cancel games today ahead of time. It was, I mean.
Oh, play the games.
Take a look at this field, Lou.
I know.
I mean, it's
That's football, though.
It's gonna be I know, but I mean, yeah.
If you have the option, you know.
Oh, is
switch
it
to
grass?
Yeah, it's a grass field.
Excellent, even better.
Doesn't look like they have lights, so it didn't look like they had the option.
I don't see much grass there. No. I don't see much grass on this picture.
No.
All right. Back with you on MVC Gridiron Weekly. For those of you looking for the MVP vote, all right, we will put that up right after the show. Was just kind of parsing through some top performers right up till game time. We will get out that MVP vote and get out the vote. All right, we will put that up on Twitter, MVC Gridiron Week, right after the show. Definitely gonna have some red men in contention. He's been in contention all year long in terms of these MVP votes. Shane Aylward, Tim Wood, Joel Ferretra here on MVC Gridiron Weekly. I kind of did the Heisman on you earlier in the season in terms of telling you you're coming on and then not coming on. So I really appreciate you coming on after this big playoff win.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to be on here.
So tell us, this was not a new matchup to you guys. You guys have, I mean, the Bill Ricca rivalry in general is huge, but you've seen him this season already. Tell us just about how this game played out for you guys last night.
I mean, it played out in our favor last night. I mean, we prepared. We already knew what they ran since we played them earlier in the season. We already had a taste of what they ran on offense, what they did on defense, and they made some new plays in the past few games, so we prepared for those during the week, and we just went out there and played aggressive, and everything went our way.
I mean, you guys had some performances from some guys. I mean, we look at the quote unquote stat sheet or the game stories every week. You had some performances from some guys that aren't always front and center. Kyle Zervis with 2 interceptions, and then the sophomore Kyle is it Dorigo or Dorigo?
Dorigo, yeah.
Dorigo, 72-yard run that set up a score by. Is it now Kalu Olu?
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, you guys had a lot of contributors last night. Just tell us about how you guys were able to spread the ball around.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Zervis has been a great player for us all year. We've played some great defensive teams, and we just try to figure out what's going to work for us. And Kyle Dorigo he's been working all season. He's been getting in a little bit of the rotation, both sides of the ball, and he got in last night, and he just played well. Had some great things, some great blocks out there. That one long touchdown run that you said he had, that was great. He's just a great player.
All right, so Shane, you mentioned your familiarity with Bill Ricker earlier. Now you're going to go play Beverly, a team I'm sure you don't know a lot about, but put up some big numbers, especially on the ground yesterday. What's your mindset going into this week? What does your week look like getting prepared for this team?
I mean, we're going to grind this week. It's a big week. We've played Beverly in the past couple years, so we have a little bit of knowledge about what they run, both sides of the ball. Our coaches are working, breaking down the film, and they're going to give us a great look this week on both sides of the ball, what they do, and we're just going to work it. We're going to get better this week, and hopefully go into this week better than last week.
Shane, tell us just about how this week was for you. First, you think you're playing at, I guess, 1:30, right? And then the game gets moved up to noon, and then the game gets moved to Chelmsford on Friday night. Like, just tell us how the team itself was able to adjust to what really wasn't your typical routine for a week.
Yeah, so we went out there all week, and we were prepared to play at 1:30 on Saturday afternoon, and then one of the days they were looking at the weather and said we might as well just play at 12 so that we're not caught in the middle of this bad weather. And then this Thursday afternoon, we were just preparing for our regular full pads practice, getting out there, and our coaches and captains and our athletic director made the decision to move the game to Chelmsford on Friday night, which threw us off a little bit. So Thursday was a little bit of an odd practice, but we got a lot of work in, and we were just getting ready to get prepared to go out and play.
Yeah, what was the feeling in the locker room? You're the 1 seed, you have home field advantage, and now you find out you got to go move to Chelmsford instead of staying in Tewksbury for your first round playoff game. I
mean, no team really ever wants to give up their home field advantage, but we've played at Chelmsford so many times, and we just played together as a team. So I mean, we all knew that it doesn't really matter where we play; we're all going to go out and give it our best, but. Home field advantage is just a great thing to have.
Tell us about this play, the touchdown early in the third quarter. It sounds like Conley made like a Eli Manning type move that we still have nightmares about, and then was able to get a 40, just a crazy pass off to you in right in front of the end zone.
Yeah. Usually that play is just supposed to be run. He's supposed to roll out and then throw it back. But some guys, they gave a great rush, and Jay made some great moves and rolled back out to my side, and I just tried to do whatever I could to get open. And I had some trust in him to throw the ball where he really needed to, where I could catch it, and once the ball was in the air, I just went up and got it, and I just tried to make a play and just try to get in the end zone.
You've been making plays all year, for all career, all since I would imagine since you and Jay were playing Pop Warner together. Just tell me in terms of what is the one thing in your mind that this team has to do differently or is already doing differently to make that next step up through this playoff run?
I mean, we just got to dig down deep in our blocking schemes. We've had a little bit of trouble this whole year. Pass blocking and run blocking, we made some mistakes last night. We just got to tune up on those all this week. We have a hard practice week, and on defense, we just got to be able to fill the holes, make tackles, and force these guys to try to air the ball out with their they have a great running back. He had a lot of yards last night. He played really well, I guess, but we just gotta try to find out a way to stop him and force them to do something else other than what they're running right now.
You've had some big games in your career, Shane. Have you ever seen a stat line like 333 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns?
I have not. That's more of a like Madden player
right? Yeah.
type thing. Yeah, that's like it's an unreal stat, but we're gonna go out and try to stop him and limit him to as little yards as possible.
Absolutely. Anything else, Joe? All right, Shane. Listen, you guys, Tewksbury and your dad, your coach, your dad, Ron Drew, and the whole program. You guys have been awesome to us this year in terms of helping us get this show off the ground. And we were looking at doing our first remote this week from Tewksbury, but with the weather and everything that was going on, we were rooting for the win last night. We're going to try to make the show happen from Tewksbury next week. So really excited for you guys. Huge congratulations on the win, on just the whole season and career for you thus far. And just a pleasure to watch you play, honestly. I think the coaches, the parents, even around the MVC, you're one of the kids that always comes up in terms of just the right kind of player in terms of how you want to see the game played.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right.
All right, Shane, best of luck.
Thank you.
That's Shane Aylward from Tewksbury, number 1 seed Tewksbury. Big win last night, 35-6 against number 8 Billerica. They will go, as Joel said, they will host number 5 Beverly. Now this guy's got a name, Marjay Malumba. I mean, he's got a Tecmo Bowl name. It's like Christian Okoye. It's like I want Marjay Malumba on my Tecmo Bowl team.
Well, those are video game numbers.
Right.
He had 300 yards in the first half.
Yeah, 303. Right. Yeah. So I mean, it's they've got a tall order. They've got the team. They've shown it all year. They've played tight defensive games. They've played wide open offensive, last score win sort of games. So I think
we saw that firsthand over in Methuen at the beginning of the season.
We did. What was it? 31-30.
Yes, it was
31-30. And again, Coach Aylward and Methuen's coach Tom Ryan go back. He used to coach at Ryan used to coach at Tewksbury with Aylward. So huge win for the Redmen, and trying to make that next step through the playoff run this year. So, all right, we're gonna pivot real quick here. We have the head coach. I believe. Is this the first repeat guest on the show?
Maybe.
No? Maybe. All right.
Hector, maybe.
Well, yeah, Hector is kind of a guest, right? Coach A, Chuck Adamopoulos from Central Catholic, a huge win. I got to find some more adjectives, but a great win last night for you guys against Lexington. Really, imposed your will from the get-go. How you doing this morning, Coach?
I'm doing well, and as a repeat guest, does that bring any type of gift card or anything to any local establishment?
So we're working on the gift cards. We're working on the gift bags, the whole swag thing. I think that's going to be season 2.
Well, I'm just glad I'm coming back as a winner this time because I came on after a loss the last time.
Yes, you did. I mean, listen, just. Hector likes to call me a carpetbagger, but I've been covering high school football for a long time, and it was very rare even to get the losing coach for a post game interview, let alone a next day radio spot. So, yeah, no, I was huge fan of yours before, huge fan of you after that interview, and just congratulations on this win last night.
Well, thank you. It was a good win because going in it was a good matchup because they've been playing very well, and they kind of similar to us have been coming along and improving every week, and they had taken their best receiver last year and moved him to quarterback to replace the Fralick kid who was playing baseball at BC, who was I think the Gatorade Player of the Year in Massachusetts last year, and this kid Bianchi has been playing really well for them. So it was a game I was concerned about going in, and actually when I talked to the Lexington coach, he said, this is a great matchup, and it'll be an entertaining game for the people to watch because of their offense. And so I'm really proud of the kids and how they responded last night. And we gave up 1 first down in the first half, and it was on a face mask penalty. And our defense played really well. And our offense, we're a team that likes to win the toss and defer, and they deferred to us. And puts a lot of pressure on your offense to do something right away, and our offense went right down and scored and kind of set a tempo for the rest of the night.
AJ Caggianelli, he's been on our MVP vote a few times here already, and I mean you're looking for veterans, you're looking for guys who want to step up in the big moment. I mean this guy does this again and again for you, Coach.
AJ has had a phenomenal season. Joey Houston's had some injuries this year, which has kind of restricted us using him on offense. And AJ got some touches last year, but he was really like the third or fourth back. And he's buried behind 2 really good senior running backs that are off playing college football now. And the thing with AJ is he's an outstanding track athlete, one of the best decathlon competitors in the state last year, and has really worked hard at being a great athlete, and he has just blossomed this year at the running back position. And he had a run last night that was, I've been coaching high school football for 37 years. It was as good a run as I've seen. He broke a tackle at the line of scrimmage. He hurdled a kid. Another kid grabbed him. He was going down. He put his hand on the ground to keep his knee off the ground and somehow broke out of the kid's grasp and then went 25 more yards for a touchdown. He had a pick 6 for a touchdown. He's really had a great season for us and provided really good senior leadership.
I mean, how many yards did he run on that play alone, would you say?
I want to say, it's funny, I always the next day I'm watching the film right now doing the stats, and I haven't got to that play yet. I want to say it was around 40 yards.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of ground he covered, the amount of moves he made on that one play, it was definitely one of those Sports Center type plays for sure.
Yeah, it really was.
So talk a little bit about Everett. You got to play Goliath now next week. You're going down to Everett.
We do.
Yeah, I'm an Everett guy originally, so I got a little. Yes, but talk about how you go about talking to your kids this week, because I'm sure Everett's on the headlines. They're ranked nationally at this point. They've got some kids going to big schools. So how do you go about getting them ready for this game on Friday night?
It's it's funny. We've played them now 5 times from 2013 on. Regular season in one of them, the other 4 in postseason games. And we're actually 3-2 against them during that period. And I'm kind of I love high school football and I love tradition, and I kind of embrace going down there. It's how we've always treated it. I mean, we went down there in 2013, the first time we played them, and they were distinct favorites, and we upset them down there that day. And I just love the whole atmosphere there. It's a great stadium. It's the band's playing. They're paintings of football up all over the walls there, and I try to get the kids to embrace that atmosphere that they're going to go in and play. You can't go in awe, and I respect their program. They've done a phenomenal job there. The sport's very important in that city, and I know we had a very, very good team last year, and they beat us last year, and they had an outstanding team, and they're very good again this year. And we've got a battle on our hands. But I'm excited about the chance to take this challenge on and see how our kids respond to it.
It was a great night for the MVC overall. You talk about not going in wide-eyed. Dracut certainly solved that puzzle against Marblehead, and a lot of 4 seeds actually fell last night, Coach. So for you guys to hold serve, so to speak, it's a big moment for the school, big game for the MVC. And
it was, the MVC I thought represented itself well, and I wasn't shocked that Methuen played AB like they did. I had a feeling Tommy would have his crew ready, and they played hard, and I wasn't shocked that they went right down to the wire with them. And North Andover moves on, and I know Tewksbury beat another MVC team, but it's another MVC team moving on. And Dracut, I have a lot of respect for the Dracut staff. They do a great job, and they've had injuries this year. And they were number 8, who's played a very good schedule, and going in and beating the number 1, I was very happy for them.
Who else? We asked you this last time, but in terms of unsung heroes that aren't going to jump off the page from last night. Nick Mazzy. We love to talk about kickers. He's 5 for 5 on extra points. Got a field goal for you guys. Who else? Who else should get their name out there for this win?
Well, I'll give you a little quick side thing on Nick Mazzy. Now, his dad is the police chief of Everett, so he's got a connection there.
All right. How's that going to play out, huh?
We may not allow any guys over 280 to play next week. I'm going to see if that can be put in as an Everett city ordinance next week.
Close off the roads.
Some unsung guys. I think our wideouts have done a really good job blocking for us this year. And we get the ball out in the perimeter and try to utilize our speed. And I know just from watching the part of the film I've watched, Michael Lefebvre and Nate Hebert, Nick Donadio, those guys go out and do a great job blocking on the perimeter, which is not an easy thing to do. High school kids, that can be a real challenge to make that kind of block. Another kid, Cam Bowes, our outside linebacker who you've had on the show.
Yep.
He's so steady and dependable at outside linebacker and does a lot of little things that don't show up statistically, but will play his gap so someone else can make the tackle. So they get the stat, and there's no real stat for what he does, but he's just a consistent player. And I'd be really remiss. Our 2 inside linebackers, Mark Kazis and Lewy Baez Troncoso, have played really outstanding. And
better you pronounce that name than me, Coach. Thank you.
Well, our inside linebacker coach, Jay Fielding, who played for us, was a captain that had an outstanding career at Westfield State. He actually led Division III in tackles one year. I call him the linebacker whisperer because he does a great job with our kids every year at linebacker, and I have to give him some praise because his 2 kids have played really well for us.
Your team, just watching how things have played out all year, your team seems to just be able to adapt to the situation and give different looks and a lot of unselfishness in terms of the stat sheet. A game like last night, Jared may not have had the crazy stats, although he did have 3 touchdowns. Sorry, he had a touchdown and touchdown pass, touchdown run. Even in that game, it's got to be impressed just in terms of how he's able to work the clock, work the field, keep these guys just on point.
It's funny, and you mentioned the stats, and I'm glad you said it, because sometimes just passing yardage alone doesn't indicate how a quarterback plays, especially depending on the offense you run. And, we played Haverhill last week, and Jared was like, except maybe for one read out of like 15, was dead on in all his decision-making because, some of the plays, there's 3 different decisions he can make on a play. And he's really, the last few weeks, been dialed in with his reads, when to hand it off, when to keep it, and then pass it at the last second. And he's really done a great job with that. He did a really good job last night. And it wasn't like he had fantasy points all over the place for his statistics. But from a coaching point of view, and John Sexton, our offensive coordinator, does a great job, and he's hard on our quarterbacks, and he's been really happy with Jared the last 2 games with his reads, and he's really, really done a good job for us.
We saw that firsthand in the Methuen game. You guys played. Well, you'll never call it a flawless game. I know as the coach, but I mean it was a great thing to watch just in terms of execution, and he was certainly leading that. So
yeah, it's funny you say that because tomorrow when they come in here to watch films, they will feel like they won the game 40-9. They never feel like they made the film room.
What is a 31-point win? What is the one thing? And you got some more tape to watch, obviously, but just from eyeball coming out of that game last night, what is the one thing that's just going to have to get tightened up heading to Everett?
The offensive line, which has been on a slow, and I'm going to use capital S with slow, slowly improving during the season. And I think took another step forward last night. He's going to have to make another jump next week for us to have a legitimate shot to win the game because, Everett's always physical with their front, and they've got size, and your offensive line has to play well if you're going to have a shot against them.
So we're going to have your quarterback on next, Coach. Anything we need to know? Any insight and anything we need to ask him about? Anything to make him blush?
No, you know what? Jared's smart. He stays low key and out of the fray.
Yeah.
I have plenty of guys I could feed you some stuff to make him blush, but he's not one of them.
All right, he's got the Brady playbook down, huh?
There you go.
All right, Coach Chuck Adamopoulos from Central Catholic. Congratulations, you guys have it's been each week getting stronger and stronger. So much for the rebuilding year. Guys. Yeah, I mean it's been impressive to watch, and huge congratulations to you, to the staff, the parents, the kids. Looking forward to seeing. This just going to be a great matchup next week.
Well, thank you for having me, and again, thanks for having the show because I think you guys do a great job, and it's great for the league. And I always catch you Monday or Tuesday when I'm supervising the study hall. I throw you guys on YouTube and get work done and listen to you, and then I send Hector text with my critiques of anything he says.
Well, and I was gonna say because I think a couple times you might send the critiques and then Hector sends them on to me. Hector doesn't seem to absorb too much. He just passes it on. So
he's the Teflon Don. Everything bounces off.
So I did all right, Coach, without the Hall of Famer with me this week. You good with this?
I think it's a step up.
Coach,
this is what happened when you don't show up to the show.
I know, right?
That's it. Yeah, that's what we always say. Everyone's afraid to leave our coaches' room because they know when they leave they're gonna get ripped to shreds.
Get one. I like to get 1, 2, 3 max shots in. So, all right, Coach. Congratulations again. We'll talk to you down the road. Maybe you'd be the first 3-timer.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, Coach.
All right, Coach.
All right. Bye-bye.
Coach Chuck Adamopoulos, winning coach, Central Catholic Raiders. A great game once again. We will take a quick break. Get the quarterback on the line. Not much to make him blush. We'll see what we can do. Maybe do a little Googling during the break.
Uh-oh.
We are Tim and Joel, and you are watching, experiencing MVC Gridiron Weekly, presented by Davila and DeFusco Insurance. I love talking about my man Val Davila. It's a dream to own your own business, and Val and Susan Davila made that a reality in February 2013. They started with just 2 insurance carriers, but now Right in Place Insurance for Progressive, Safeco, Pilgrim, Plymouth Rock, and Mapfre, just to name a few. Need auto insurance, renters, commercial, or home? Davila and DeFusco prides itself in having lifelong roots in the Merrimack Valley. Put their experience to work for you. Visit them at 225 Broadway or call 978-241-7950 for a free quote, or visit them online at daviladefusco.com.
Everyone is cashing in on social media, and all marketing roads lead through social media. If you want to make a splash here in the Merrimack Valley, you need to tap in. This is where the new CEM podcast studios come in. Of course, you can spend your time, energy, and money learning how to wrangle technology to make a podcast instead of running your business. Or you can invest in telling everyone in the Merrimack Valley, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, the Seacoast, or everywhere in the world about your great business, product, service, or yourself. The CEM podcast studio is a local audio and video studio dedicated to the craft of podcasts. Their studios feature state-of-the-art recording and mixing equipment designed specifically to produce the best audio and video podcast. Best of all you need to worry about is your show, your business, and your brand. We do the rest. Call 978-686-9966. That's 978-686-9966 to schedule a no-obligation tour of the CEM facilities and meet with a podcast specialist. Or go to CEMpodcast.com to find out more about podcasting services. CEMpodcast.com, your window to the world.
Back here on MVC Gridiron Weekly, presented by Davila and DeFusco Insurance. Hey, want to give another shout out to one of our great sponsors, Jen Hamilton, Realtor with Keller Williams Realty. Whether you're buying or selling, God, I hope she's not having to do open houses today. Yeah. She is constantly busy. This is an awful day for an open house, but listen, the fall market is still hot. Even as the temperatures drop, Jen Hamilton, she is an expert. She's award-winning realtor in terms of volume, in terms of customer service. So whether you're buying or selling in the Merrimack Valley, in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Jen will get the deal for you, get the deal done for you, and get it done right. Call her today for a free assessment and no cost estimate. 508-954-7941. Jen Hamilton, Keller Williams Realty. A very happy camper today. I know Jen's a big Central fan. She's a big Valley fan in general, Methuen, Central, all across the board. But if she's got some football expertise too, and she was one of the first people to jump on with us. So huge thank you to Jen Hamilton and for sponsoring MVC Gridiron Weekly. All right, Tim Wood, Joel Ferretti back with you. We pivot from the coach to the quarterback. We've got on the line with us Jared Silverio, Central Catholic. How are you today, sir? Congratulations on the big win.
Morning, Jared.
Thank you. Morning.
So, tell us just how this played out for you last night in terms of just the Lexington coming in. You guys just dominated from the get-go. Tell us in terms of what you saw and how you got your team pumped up for this.
We were we practiced hard all week. Had a good week of practice. Watched a lot of film on them. We knew they were going to be a good team, and that we knew if we came out hard that we could definitely beat them. So we just came out hard, ready to play, and everyone played great, and we got the win.
Jared, tell us just in terms of how you see this team progressing. You guys. I mean, on paper, you had a slow start, even though those games were tough matchups, and you guys were kind of finding your groove. Tell us what you've seen just in terms of the progression and the maturity of this team.
We've just improved like so much overall as a team. Like everyone, like the lines improved, defense has improved, offense has improved. We just kept getting better each week, and we're just clicking.
Is there a moment that you can point to, or early in the season, or a moment throughout the season where it was just whether it's a game or a play in a game where it was just like, all right, this is who I want to be, this is who I want my team to be?
Well, after the North Andover loss, we knew we didn't want to lose any more games after that, and we just wanted to keep playing hard, not lose any more games, got a good ranking for the playoffs, and win the MVC.
What kind of adjustments coming out of that North Andover game? What was it? What kind of adjustments did you make personally in terms of just kind of turning the season around right there?
Well, the North Andover game, we only put up 7 points, and our defense played great that game. So I knew that it was partially on me that we didn't put up that many points. So I knew that we just had to get the offense going more. Defense was playing great, and once we get the offense going, we'd be good.
Yeah, so Jared, Coach was very complimentary to you earlier about your RPOs and being able to make those right reads. What were you able to see on film or getting ready for Lexington that allowed you to make those right decisions?
I'd watch the DN and the corners, like every play, the linebackers too, to see like where they're moving, when the where the running back's going, just see if they're following the running back, what they're doing. So once I get into the game, I'm prepared to make the right reads.
All 22 Lou gave me a smile on that RPO from Joel.
It's an excellent question. Always what I like to know. What are the keys? Yeah.
Heading into Everett, you obviously know the aura around that program. You guys kind of have that in the MVC. You guys kind of have a similar aura. How do you match? How do you match what you see on tape against them?
I think we're ready. We haven't watched any film on Everett yet, but I think we'll be ready to go against them. They're a tough team, but we can definitely play with them, I think. You guys got to come out hard.
What's the most comparable in terms of kind of spotlight situations? Like going into Everett, it's a unique setting. How many of your guys, including yourself, like have had that sort of spotlight moment in playing those big games?
I think everyone on the team's ready to play in big games, no matter when it are. Coach A feeds off big games, really makes it known to us to feed off the atmosphere and just play hard and be ready for big games.
So your program has a lot of familiarity with Everett. What are the things you're going to be looking for this week to try to get your guys ready to go for Friday night, going into hostile territory down there?
We're gonna watch film all week. Just have a good week of practice hard, and we'll be ready. We'll be ready for when the game comes on Friday.
Did you go home and watch the Red Sox last night?
I didn't go home. I actually went to Fridays, and I did watch them though. And after that, went to my friend's house and watched the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of you could have 2 dinners at Fridays and then
yeah, it was a long one.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There were pictures this morning outside of Bada Bing. The bar closed and people were standing on Hampshire Road watching the game through the windows.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Yeah. In terms of unsung heroes with this team, tell us who makes you look good?
Well, the whole O-line, everyone on the O-line makes me look good. Working hard every play to give me time to throw the ball, give me the holes, and give the running back the holes to run the ball. Running backs do a great job, too, blocking for me when they have to block, run hard. And the defense is just playing great, the whole defense.
All right, so pop quiz. Tell us the names. Who are your linemen?
Nick Mueller, Michael Sater, Nick Iero, Uwe. I can't really pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
And George Cosner.
Nice. All right. He's awake enough. He's awake enough to get the O-line out there. Well played, sir. In terms of the folks who have, I mean, we've obviously seen you in Methuen here. You've progressed. You've come up through. Who are the folks? Whether it's, I don't know, it's teachers, it's coaches, it's parents. Who are the folks? I see your sister was getting the vote out hard for you on the MVC MVP vote last week. Yeah. I mean, who are the people behind the scenes that have really helped you to get to this point?
My parents and my whole family have been very supportive through my high school career. Just they want the best for me. And back in my Methuen days, Coach Bill worked with me. I played lacrosse with him, football with him.
Well, even when Bill Bryant's not here, he still gets love. I mean, it's
just that kind of guy.
It's just disgusting. Even when he's not here to tell us about who he's coached, they still give him love. Damn it, Jared! Why'd you do that? I'm just kidding, bud. I'm just kidding. We love Coach Bill. So, in terms of so the family, all right, you got to get the names out there. Mom, dad, siblings, who give us names. Got to give them names.
Well, my mom and dad have been very supportive, and then my older sister Taylor, who's a senior in college, and then I have a younger brother Jack, who's in 8th grade. That's been to all the games too. He's missed hanging out with his friends to come to watch me play. So I really appreciate it.
He's is he playing football at all?
He actually plays hockey, but he's thinking about playing football next year when he comes to Central.
Nice.
Lacrosse player as well.
Yes, you've seen him in lacrosse.
Yeah.
Jared, huge congratulations. I mean, we were talking to Coach. We've been watching you all season long, and the way that you lead this team, the way that you've taken control of the quarterback position, the way that you put your height and strength to your advantage in the way you've made the reads. Just huge congratulations for the progression throughout this season.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jared,
thank you, I appreciate it.
You've been putting in the work. All the accolades that are coming are well-deserved, buddy. Proud of you.
Thank you.
All right, that's Jared Silveira. Hey, have a great week. Enjoy this win for however many more hours you can before Coach starts pounding the tape on Everett into you. And we'll be rooting for you next week against Everett.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Right back at you. That's Jared Silveira from Central Catholic. You couldn't have said it better. He's put in the work, and you can see it. You can see the progression. Right from game one, right on through.
Absolutely. I remember coaching Jared in 8th grade. He was one of the quarterbacks for a Pop Warner team. It's like apples and dump trucks right now. You wouldn't believe it's the same kid from 3 years ago.
At the high school level, when you're preparing for a team that you haven't seen a lot, that's a really good team, what percentage of it is trying to attack that team's weaknesses as you see them on film, or what percentage of it is just let's do what we do well?
I think a lot of it is do what you do well. You're not breaking down film from weeks past.
Because asking the high school kids to adapt this quickly and that dramatically is,
I don't think you're going to change complete offensive and defensive schemes, but I think you're going to add little wrinkles here or there. With a team like Everett, who's so big up front, you may have to think of a different way to try to get to the quarterback as compared to just maybe only rushing 3 or 4. You're going to have to bring some corners, maybe some guys from the outside to try to get some pressure and disrupt it that way. Same
or
thing.
Tweak the RPOs and for personnel, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and it's a great question, and because it's you can't all you can ask from these kids is to just tighten things up, to play loose, but tighten up, tighten up your business in terms of no penalties and
These guys all still have they're not professionals, not in college, where they have all this extra time away from the field. They all go to class 6 to 7 hours a day. You got your homework to do, and you only get so many hours together. So for you to think you're going to be able to come in and put in a full new game plan week to week is really unreasonable. But it's what Coach A said. You get in that film room, you find the mistakes, and you harp on those, and you tighten those up. And you just put in a couple of wrinkles here or there week to week, to prepare yourself.
So coaches will never admit this, okay? But do you think that Central's has been compiling tape on Everett and had it in the back of their head, even though you're focusing right now?
Oh, absolutely. They have somebody on their staff who, I'm sure they had somebody at the game last night. I'm sure they've been watching the film. Obviously none from last week because Malden forfeited to Everett.
Yeah.
But you know what they're bringing to the table. And
that's just due diligence for coaching staff, right? I mean, you got to figure Central's going to run into Everett at some point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and that's what you're hoping for, and I'm sure in the back of your mind you're going to go for what's worked. They've beaten Everett, like Coach A said, 3 times in the past 6 years. Mm-hmm. So you're going to go back to the well, what worked against them. Everett,
Do you literally have, just like you would in a defensive scheme? Do you literally have a quote unquote spy on Everett throughout the season?
Oh, absolutely. And there's a network. Coaches are talking to other coaches, and I'm sure they're sharing game film and things that may have worked in the past. And you're reaching out. Hey, you remember I can get you this film here. I'll talk to you about Everett. And there's always those networks.
That question I asked about percentage of what you do well or adapt to the other team, I'm guessing the percentages are different on the defensive side of the ball because you can be more adaptable on the defensive side of the ball.
Exactly. I think, to change your offensive approach is a lot more different than the defensive approach. I agree 100%. So I would probably say it's 75-25, so I think
so. On defense, you're probably looking at personnel packages as much as anything else, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're playing against a team that runs the ball more. You're probably going to bring in more bigger guys and try to stuff them at the line of scrimmage as compared to if you're playing a team that throws the ball as much more. You may go 4 or 5 defensive backs, drop a safety or 2 back, and let everything happen in front of you. So, Coach A's got his work cut out for him, but he's been around a long time. I'm sure he's getting his guys ready starting this morning. I'm sure he's breaking down film and being ready to hit that locker room with his guys tomorrow and start getting ready for Everett.
Is E.J. Perry the kind of coach that Coach A could call? And because 41-14, Andover put up a decent game against them last night. Maybe Everett, don't know for sure, but maybe they took the foot off the pedal towards the end. But still to put 14 up,
right? It was 41-0 with 6 minutes left in the second quarter last night.
So there you go.
So but I'm sure they still saw things that Coach Perry's going to say, there's things we could have done better and be able to share that with Coach A and pass that in for along.
So a couple, we've focused on a couple of storylines here, 2-3 storylines, because Dracut, Tewksbury, Central Catholic, big wins last night. But around the rest of the MVC, it's a week where there was a lot of games because of playoff matchups, because of non-playoff matchups, not a whole lot of inner matchups there. So North Andover, first round of the playoffs, Division II North, number 1 Andover, 49-0 over Westford Academy. We saw a little bit of Westford. Basically, the score was what it should be.
And you were talking about mascots earlier, Lou, the Gray Ghosts. I don't get it. It's for Westford.
Kind of cool though.
I don't know. So not a fan of that.
St. John's.
If you're playing in October, it's okay.
Yeah.
It was Boston Latin. Was it Boston Latin as the great Game of Thrones logo there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
How does that get by? How many of these kids are watching Game of Thrones?
All right, so Division I North playoffs, number 2 St. John's Prep. We mentioned this a little earlier, 41-0 over number 7 Haverhill. Them taking care of business, so they will face Acton Boxborough. So again, it's one of those things where I would have loved, just being in Methuen, being a Methuen fan, I would have loved to see what we could have done against St. John's. But c'est la vie. Good luck to St. John's moving on, and all right, what else we got? We got in the non-playoff games, Lawrence with a 14-8 win over Malden. Lowell with a 27-6 win over Newton South. And then the aforementioned, hey, congratulations to the Chelmsford Lions. They get their first win of the season, 31-7 over the Game of Thrones adorned Boston Catholic.
Boston Latin.
Boston Latin. You know what I had in my head?
Something Catholic on the head.
You know what I had? I had Boston Public in my head. The TV show. Remember that? Yes. I don't know. Anyway, so. There's your lineup. We mentioned the Methuen game, 28-21, Acton-Boxborough. Let's talk about some top performers. We talked about Devin Lambert earlier. 3 touchdowns, a touchdown run, and Dracut's first playoff win since 2008. Led scoring drives on the first 4 possessions. Cam McCullough, a 40-yard TD catch, 18-yard TD catch. The Middies defense, they didn't allow a first down until late second quarter. We mentioned Nemesis Lopez, late pick to seal the win. Jake Connolly from Tewksbury, 2 TD passes, a 40-yarder to Shane Aylward, and a 21-yard strike to Joshua. What do you think?
Shagru.
Shagru?
Oh, yeah.
Shagru. Joshua Shagru. Kyle DeRigo, we mentioned him, 72-yard run for the Redmen. Kyle Zervis, we mentioned, had the 2 big interceptions for the Redmen. A.J. Cagianelia, 3 TDs, 41-yard touchdown run, 50-yard interception return.
Yeah, so Central Catholic's defense, like Coach A said, really stepped up. 1 first down allowed in the first half. Got out to that big lead and let it hold all the way through. Nick Mazzi, 5 for 5 on extra points, a 27-yard field goal. It's a great weapon to have
field
at high school.
He's our kicker of the week.
Yes. So having a weapon like that's always helpful, especially when you're getting deep in the playoffs and close games. It's great to have a kicker like that. North Andover, who we talked about a little bit before, held Westford to 72 total yards. Jake McElroy, the stats don't really pop out, but 110 yards passing, 40 yards rushing, 1 passing TD, 2 rushing TDs, helped carry that team to a big win and now advance on to the Division II playoffs against a tough Woburn team.
Gabe D'Souza, 35-yard interception TD return for North Andover. 3 catches, 67 yards, including a 22-yard TD catch from his backcourt mate, I think, Jake. Mike Difo?
I would go Difo.
I go Difo. Okay. Big defensive game, 1-yard TD run. And if you read the Eagle Tribune this morning, I guess they call him Hollywood. He had a nice hairdo. Got a shiny earring apparently. So nice game for him.
Yeah.
Connor Bryant. Listen, he was our MVP last week. On paper, might have had an even better game. 202 yards passing, 28 carries, 137 yards rushing, 3 TD runs. Did everything he could in terms of the Rangers.
He runs hard. He's not shying away from contact. I'm sure Coach Ryan every once in a while is cringing. Would love him to run out of bounds. Would love him to maybe get down instead of fighting through 2 or 3 tackles. But the kid's heart is huge, and he left it all out there last night. So
Wes Correa, 3 catches, 89 yards for Methuen. Brady Scaffus from Scaffus,
I'd go with. I agree with you
from
on that.
Haverhill, 170 yards, 75 yards passing. Sam Prescott, 5 from Haverhill, 5 catches, 113 yards, and then Brandon Sintel, 14 carries, 55 yards. Big defensive night for Lawrence. Brendan Tighe,
big night on it.
I mean,
big catches.
We don't know the total yardage that Brendan had, but we know he had 65-yard TD catch, 20-yard TD catch, 41-yard TD catch, and then a 45-yard catch.
That's 170 yards receiving right there. If he caught anything else,
I was told there'd be no mass. So good on you there. Well played. So week 9, we've mentioned some of the matchups already. Central Catholic goes to Everett. I mean, I guess as long as you just don't buy into the hype, as long as you just say, listen, we do what we do against whoever it is.
It helps having that resume. Like Coach A said, you've had success against them in the past. So, knowing that you can go into that house and have success helps a lot as well. And those kids aren't going to be starstruck walking in there, aren't going to be afraid when you see those 290, 300-pound offensive linemen coming at you, because that in the past you've taken down Goliath. So that's going to help in that preparation as well.
Division 2 North playoffs. Number 1 North Andover will host number 4 Woburn. Woburn beat Waltham last night 26-12. North Andover's not, seen Woburn. They beat them 35-7 to start the season.
That's a long time ago.
It is, and I didn't even know if Freddie Gavin was playing for. I don't think so. I don't think he was broken in until maybe the second, third game. So, and listen, we didn't mention Classy Freddie. But I mean, he had a decent game. There was nobody. Jake jumped off the page a little bit. I think they shut down Freddie earlier in the game. He had probably about 70 yards rushing. So, like you said, that was an eternity ago. So how do you get your kids in that mindset that like don't have the 35-7 in your head?
That's tough. It's tough. You have to somehow convince a bunch of 17, 18-year-old kids that history's gone, it doesn't matter anymore, that this team's coming, they're going to come up here, they're going to have that chip on their shoulder, remembering that 35-7 loss earlier in the season. They're going to be coming up looking for revenge, and especially trying to knock off the 1 seed in North Andover. So, you've got to drive that home, where they're going to come in. They're coming into your house. They're looking to right or wrong the start of their season, and just once again, look at that tape and say, guys, we can look at some things that on this tape that were very helpful, but there's a different team, and really bring up the recent success that Woburn has had, and drive those points home.
I mean, we don't see this kind of stat sheet. Number 1, Tewksbury is going to face number 5, Beverly. I mean, pros, college, high school. I mean, have you ever seen a stat sheet?
That's like 80s Nebraska,
and listen, we're not
Arkansas,
talking about
triple option wishbone numbers.
We're not talking about playing a number 8 seed. They played number 4. They were on the road against number 4 Winchester, and they 333 yards, 5 touchdowns for this Marjay Malumba. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Those are crazy numbers. I haven't seen,
I honestly, I had to check 3 different sources to make sure that it wasn't a
Did you
misprint.
guys see any tape on it?
No.
Was it individual effort? I mean, at a certain point, a coach is going to say, "Let's just stop this guy."
Right.
Yeah.
You got to think
Make
the
him
big
do
guys.
something else.
You got to think the big guys up front had a great night.
Oh, yeah.
You're not running for 330 unless those 5 up front are really pushing that that defensive line from Winchester around.
Yeah, but you load up the box, and
you have to
if
think.
your defensive line is getting beat up, you can bring in some people from second level.
But I mean, it's the old adage. I'm gonna do it until you stop me.
Right.
They clearly couldn't stop him.
No, that's why I was wondering if it was more individual effort on the running back's part, or but sometimes you just physically beat. That's all.
Right.
He had a couple of spectacular where he broke maybe 4 or 5 tackles, but I mean, just from what I could get, I wasn't there obviously, but just what I can gather, it was a pretty beastly effort from the offensive line.
Yeah.
So, Tewksbury will face Beverly there.
So you get a kid like that to the second level, and that's where these numbers come from.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Tewksbury will finally get a home playoff game.
Yeah.
Weather permitting. Number 4, Division 4 playoffs, Division 4 North playoffs. I mean, listen. I don't even to call them the number 8 seed at this point. I mean, to me. See, I played a lot of tennis growing up, and we had a ladder. So no matter where you were on the ladder, if I was number 8 and I beat number 1, I'm number 1 now. So
right.
So I mean, I don't see the seed on Dracut anymore right now.
I think they've got to be riding high. First playoff win in 10 years. You go on the road and beat a really good Marblehead team, and now you're going to go up. You're going to go play Wayland on the road again. And
do you know anything in terms of the stadium there?
Wayland?
Yeah.
Nothing great from what I remember. I think we played Pop Warner there a couple of times. Nothing eye-popping.
Okay.
But I just know it's turf.
Yeah.
So, they put up huge numbers too. So it's not going to be a cakewalk for Dracut. They put up 42 against Burlington on the road. So Wayland's going to come in hungry as well. They have one upset, and they're going to be looking to go again because they're one game away from the North
surprise home game for them too.
Exactly. I'm sure they weren't thinking of being home this week. So now I'm sure that fan base is going to come out in droves and pack that place for a home game. So.
All right, so similarly, how do you? I mean, are you knocked off undefeated? Like you said, you knocked off Goliath. How do you level out the mood now? How do you get these guys back into? All right, but here's the things that you left on the field mode.
Right. I think those guys are going to come in sky high, obviously. And as a coaching staff, you're going to look at that film. You're going to find those things, and you got to drive home the fact that you're not done. What you just did. Now you knocked off the 1. It'd be a shame now to go on the road. You knock off the 1 seed, and then you have to go into Wayland, and now you lose to a 5. So drive that point home a lot. Like the road is set for us. We can run these next couple of games. We can find ourselves in a D4 North final, with a shot at Gillette in December. So you just got to keep driving that home. That almost like Miracle on Ice. You knock off the Russians, but it means nothing if you lose to Finland the next day.
I'm guessing it's individual on a game-to-game basis. But what do you do with that win? Do you pump up that win, or do you caution them? Do you try to tamp that down, or do you pump it up?
I think you got to squash it. You got to tamper a little bit, and you got to put that behind you as soon as you can.
Because it's a single night, it might be matchups. You don't let them think, we're just going to roll this table.
And this quarterback for Wayland is going to make it easier. He put up 4 touchdowns in the win over Burlington, and they clearly must have a decent defense because Burlington's put up some points throughout the season. So, I think the tape's going to make it easy too.
Right. And now those matchups.
You pull a Belichick and go in and pull out all the gag reel, all the bad plays, and just.
Oh, absolutely. That's what every coach does. No matter how great of a victory it is, you're always going to find those couple of points to drive home. So now, Tim, I think the matchups don't come out until Sunday now for the non-playoff games coming up.
So you got Methuen, Andover, Lowell, Lawrence, Chelmsford, Haverhill, Billerica. All will play non-playoff games next week. As you said, if we're looking at the way things have gone, Eddie McKinnon just woke up.
Yes,
so
he did.
Good on Eddie. I mean, if you're just waking up, we're in overtime. We're going to end things here in a couple of minutes, but. We'll post the non-playoff matchups. Those will come out tomorrow. We'll post those on the Twitter. So, but if we're looking at maybe history, what history tells us, Methuen might get Lexington.
Right. I know Lexington came up here last year after they lost in the second round of the playoffs, and it was a brutal night. It was so cold, but it was a shootout. So you wonder if the matchup committee see that, and maybe Methuen ends up in Lexington this time.
How do they create the matchups?
I'm guessing it's just it's the MIA. Who knows how they, who knows how they operate.
Do they look at
Circle
points
in
at
the
all?
Sand, chicken bones.
They look at points at all, or are they looking at geographic? Or?
I'm guessing the first thing they're looking at is, they're not going to want to repeat an opponent.
Yep.
So Methuen's not going to end up playing an Andover or Lowell again, or a Lawrence. So it'll probably be a non-MVC team.
Yeah.
So I think you're not going to want to travel too far. Lexington's not too far of a shot down 128. Could it be Chelmsford coming in here?
So how do you do that in terms of, because Lexington was a 5 seed, they would get a home game?
I think it might look at home away.
Yeah.
Just, Methuen's had.
That's true.
Just might look at, all right, well, Lexington's had 5 home games already. I'm not sure. The ADs probably have a little bit of input on that if the stadiums are available. But, maybe Chelmsford ends up in here because we haven't played Chelmsford this year yet, and keep it in the MVC. You never know.
How do you get your team up for this?
I think that might be a tougher job for Coach Ryan this week as a playoff game, because now there's going to be, those kids are down. So how do you I think it's going to be a little easier to motivate those seniors. You only get you got 2 or 3 more games left, and then a lot of you guys aren't going to be on the field again. But Coach Ryan has to look at it as he has a young team, and he's got to be, even though you lost in the first round of the playoffs in a heartbreaker, knowing that these are still going to be the stepping stones to get yourself ready for 2019. Right. And that's a hard thing for a coach to do is, already start, you're in October knowing, you want to win some games here, but also how do you get this team ready for the next year? They're very young, especially at their skill positions.
I'm trying to connect to my inner 15-year-old, and I don't want to hear that.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No. So you just got a game plan like it is any other week. Somehow try to put this game in the past.
15-year-olds have personal pride. Tap into that.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we've seen it. We've seen it on Ranger Nation Radio. That it hasn't been all seniors coming in here. It's been a lot of young kids coming in here. That,
you can lay down and go get waxed next week.
Yeah.
Or you can put in another week of work. And,
Absolutely. And they've been these guys have been at
Lou's available for the motivational speeches too, guys.
I don't think
coaches out there.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see a lot of quitting those kids. Those kids have been in the weight room since the spring. And, playing 7-on-7. And have been working at it too hard to let one loss on the road in a playoff game get to them where they're going to just phone it in. Especially now, you don't know who you have these next 2 weeks, but that loss to Dracut still sitting in the back of that mind to a lot of those kids, and they're going to want to have, when Dracut comes in here on Thanksgiving morning, be able to pay that back.
It doesn't strike me as a team that needs a lot of motivation from the kids I've met.
Yeah.
And, there's a good leadership group on there, and, coaching staff is passionate. As we know, and the people surrounding the team, I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah, I think even if you lose a playoff game, there's a lot of good things to build on with that. Little mistakes that are correctable that were made in that game last night, the penalties, maybe those halftime adjustments, things like that, where a 7-point loss on the road in the playoffs to a 3 seed isn't the end of the world. For a young team to be able to build off of that and now continue that growth to through Thanksgiving and then hit the weight room in the winter and just continue to work at it.
They were able to do this against Tewksbury in terms of that's a really good team that we let the game get away. They had the whole season in front of them. Now you're at a point where so it's going to be easier to get the seniors motivated.
I agree.
But I think, as you said, Lou, I think you got enough leadership on whether it's Methuen, whether it's whoever it is, Andover.
Plus, did you remember how the Dracut loss stuck with everyone we talked to?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it got in a craw.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't seem like this is a team. This is an ongoing story. It's a young team, right? This is supposed to be a rebuild year.
But the thing with the Dracut loss as well, that's Thanksgiving, your season's over.
Yeah.
So that's going to stick a little bit. At least now you have something to turn the page to. You don't know who you're playing yet, but you have another football game.
Yeah.
And you're not going to want the last memory, to be that loss on the road where you were up 21-7 at the half. You're going to want to turn that page and show what this team is made of. And I think
that's why, honestly, whatever the matchups on the field were like, I give just a huge shout out to Chelmsford for going in without a win, not really ultra competitive in a whole lot of those games, and then to come in and just put a beat down to Boston Latin last night. Congratulations to Chelmsford.
Exactly.
That's kind of, to me, that's kind of the blueprint. Just now you just want to be 1-0.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You gotta go. There's nothing we can do. The playoffs are in. All we can do is beat our opponent that we're playing Friday night, and just build out. Just continue to build week by week, and just get that program going in the right direction.
Eddie McKinnon says he's watching on the fire truck in Boston.
How cool is that?
Eddie's just a huge supporter in general.
I love watching games with him. I was with him during the end of the game on the sidelines. You're not going to find a more passionate man in Methuen when it comes to football. And
all right, so we talk.
What are they doing? They going to Dunkin's? Wendy's? What are they doing on the fire truck?
Hopefully not a call.
Hopefully not. No, he's not listening on a call. I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah. So we talk a lot about unsung heroes, Joel. Who is the unsung hero behind the beard? Like that is a you have epic beard game. Who is the unsung hero behind the beard?
Got to give credit to the wife. When I first started growing it a couple of years ago, we did it for Halloween. She went as the Bumble. I was Yukon Cornelius for Halloween. And she hated it at first. And we were also, that was the year that we went to the New England Finals for 8th grade. So I couldn't shave after Halloween. That was the team Connor and Jared Silveri and all those guys were on. So then it just took a life of its own. And then for Christmas, she got me all these beards. She got me the oils and the soaps and all that. And then,
so she was bought in by Christmas.
She was bought in by Christmas, and then at that point, oh, the guy with the beard. Yeah, that's me. So it's just taken on a life of its own. I've shaved it down a little bit, but it's great. It's a fidget toy now. I'll play with this all the time.
Sure.
And now for Halloween costumes, I have to figure out the beard. So got that. You'll see those pictures later on tonight. We got our costumes ready to go.
We were talking. So, he posted some photos, the Princess Bride themed photos.
Right.
Who are you?
I was Fezzik, the Andre the Giant character. My wife went as Wesley. We've done, we did the Yukon Cornelius and the Bumble. I've done Captain Lou Albano, and she was Cyndi Lauper.
Yes, you said photo too. Yes.
Yeah. And Batman and Robin, which got a little crazy.
Did you have the rubber band in the beard?
Yes,
Captain
I did.
Lou?
And we got the rubber cement and put them on the face. I didn't have the full beard at the time, but I kept the goatee and kind of put it in the elastics. But we have fun with it.
I've had this since my junior year in high school as a playoff beard. It's only been off once since then.
Right.
But I can't do that. I can't. It drives me nuts. There's a certain length where I can't go that far.
I'm the same way. I've been on the verge of growing out a beard maybe 3 times this fall, and when we first started the business, I'm the same way. I've always usually had a goatee. Yeah. When we first started the business, I said, okay, I gotta be clean shaven when I'm going out on business stuff. But
it's really not the length; it's the width. I can see, if it gets a little bigger than this, I can see in my peripheral vision. Then it's time to bring it down a little bit.
Yeah, when
I can see hair without even I can just see it in the left and right corners of my eyes.
Good. Tim knows I had a bad case of poison ivy early in the season, and I woke up one morning and I could see my face. And I said, "That's not good."
No.
When you can see your own cheek, that's not good.
That's a bad sign.
So Lou, this guy. Bill.
You did great.
Do we need Bill back?
No. No, I like Bill.
Yeah. He's all right.
Bill cut the beard too. He sat there and he told us he wasn't going to cut the beard, and he cut the beard.
He's all slim now. He's got to bring down the slight beard.
I talked him into it.
He's good.
Did you? I think
he was so defiant though when you brought it up the week before.
But I think he realized it. I think when I said to him, "Listen, you're thin now. You're fit. Like, I know you don't want to admit it. You probably don't feel it inside yet. Your insides haven't caught up to the outside. But you look in the mirror, buddy. You're thin.
How does that relate to the beard?
Because
you look like a Norse god.
But you hide it. You use the beard. I've used facial hair my whole life to hide the chins.
The beard shapes the face better when you got a little chub on the cheek.
Yep.
Yeah. So. The goatee and the beard.
It just gets itchy, and it goes. There's a point where I know, God, I got to cut it down again.
Yeah. I've used a pine tar soap, which I've never heard of.
I'm of the Brett Favre school. I want it to look like a 4-day growth all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. George Michael, Brett Favre.
Yeah. I look like that after about 6 hours if I shave the beard.
Right? Yeah.
So, the joke is I can grow hair any inch of my body except for the top of my head.
Plus, mine's all gray now. If I grow it out like that, I'll look like Santa.
Yeah, I'm getting this now. I'm getting the stripe in the middle.
Yeah.
So.
What was September 2013? This is the second time Joel's filled in for Bill, he said.
Bill was, I was one of Bill's assistant coaches for the C team. It was a heated game in Dracut. He got thrown out of that game, and Pop Warner rules mean you have to sit out the next game, so I had to be the head coach for.
You got thrown out of a Pop Warner game?
It was an ugly day. Coach McKinnon can tell you about that. He ended up running across the field that day. The other coach, Dracut, threw deep on him, up 3 scores with 2 minutes left. It was a pretty rough day in Dracut, and then the crowds got involved. Kids got hurt, ended up leaving in ambulances, and it was not one of our shining moments.
It was a teachable moment.
See, there's a whole Bill I don't know here,
right?
Apparently.
This is the thing. I got to balance out these shout-outs when he's not even here with this stuff.
But here's, and I'm not brown-nosing, but when Bill gets fired up like that, it's always in defense of his kids.
Yep.
Sure. You know what I mean? The game definitely, it wasn't. We weren't going after the referees. Right, exactly.
But I think what he's saying is you could have an overzealous parent where it's about the parent, and it's
No, with Bill, it's about passion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
but he seems so much more in control. Is he meditating or something? What's going on?
Well, you know what? I don't know if he's more in control.
Is it Pam?
It's
Pam.
Watch him on the sidelines now. He's a different person. It's the passions there. It's more nerves now. He's not in control.
Right.
It's a lot easier when you're on the sidelines and you're calling plays and you know what's going on. Now he has no control. All he's doing is holding his phone, videotaping every play of his son, or watching his daughter on the sidelines. He doesn't have that control anymore. It's a completely.
And we were commiserating. Watching my son play baseball was the most miserable experience of my life. It's just like, it's one thing when you're playing, you just go out and play, but you want your kid to do well. You don't want him upset,
Even coaching my 9-year-old, it's just, it's like.
It can be heartbreaking.
Absolutely. And I'm honestly, like this season, this could have been rough having Bill in studio on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Like, like this, with a young team, with a young QB, this could have gone a whole different direction. Yeah. And the way Connor stepped up, I mean, seriously, thank you, Connor, because you made it bearable with Bill. Bill, I think there was one week where I think Bill really
That would have been fine.
Bill put on a
Bill's in parent mode too.
and he put in a good. He put on a good. Probably the one week he had to put on the game face.
Yeah.
And Lowell could have been an interesting week. You know, that second half. You know, that second quarter in Lowell.
3 interceptions.
Yep.
Right, and then so that could have been a really rough Saturday coming in here after if they had lost that game. But once again, you know, for a junior, and that, you know, for him to lead that team the way he is right now.
It's high school football. You hug the kid, you move on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I miss it.
You're gonna be okay.
Extreme overtime here, but listen, it's the playoffs. We want to get through everybody. And great job, Joel. Really,
I appreciate the opportunity.
You
Lou,
stepping in. And I mean, listen, maybe we talk about a 4-man booth. The NFL Network's doing it tomorrow.
I'm looking in here.
London,
I don't see the room.
So right,
I have to build bleachers. Bill and I have slimmed down a little bit, not that much. Though.
All right, fair enough. Lou, any final thoughts?
No, it's just I just love watching these kids play playoff football, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Dracut. That's what I. That's
I just
my
hate how Thanksgiving's become an afterthought. But,
yes.
Yeah, because Dracut plays well, and now somehow you come out of the D4 North Finals, and you got a game that next week. Those seniors really aren't going to be playing much, and it takes a little bit away from that Thanksgiving game. It's a shame, but you know, I'm sure Dracut would rather be playing for a Super Bowl championship than, you know. So
we got a couple of number 1 seeds that get really their first test. We get Central playing kind of on level in terms of stature against Everett. We get Dracut trying to keep the quote unquote Cinderella story going against Wayland. Big stories to follow next week. We'll be on it. And hopefully we will not be no baseball next week. It'll be over one way or the other, so we will not be up till 3:30 a.m.
North Andover.
The way they're playing, maybe.
That's true. All right, for Lou Blasi, for Joel Ferretra, Tim Wood, watch us on demand. We'll talk to you next week on MVC Gridiron Weekly, presented by the Violenda Fusco Insurance. Have a great week.